Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the Hanny Show. Today, I have another special guest, so I'm going to have some questions for him. So, let's get it started, man. What's your name and what do you do, man?
Well, thanks for having me, Hanny. Steve Setka is my name. I own a company called InXpress. It's a freight brokerage, freight agency type of company. So we're a specifically trucking logistic company, a company that moves freight for businesses all over Canada and all over the U.S. And we've been doing that for 7 years now. And that's kind of a little snapshot of my entrepreneur journey.
Nice, Steve. That's what's up, man. So my next question is, like, what's your background and how long have you been doing this?
Born and raised in Winnipeg, been here most of my life, but I've lived in a few different places around the world. I lived in BC for a couple years, and I lived in Australia for a couple years, kind of after university. And I took the traditional route. You know what I mean? Like I was educated well, I would say, and I was happy with my education. Not necessarily what I would do with my kids and my family going forward here, but the world's changed a little bit. But I was in school and then went to university straight after, and focused on education and physical education specifically, and going in to get an education degree. Now that wasn't really a route that I ended up taking, because I ended up traveling, and then I ended up going into entrepreneurship. And I'm glad I did that, because I don't really like to get stuck in a box. You know, I don't really want to be employable. I want to employ myself, per se. So I've been doing this 7 years. I came back from living overseas 7 years ago to do this. How I got in is a whole different story, but I'm glad that I did it, and I'm glad that I've taken this step and leap in my life.
Now, that's powerful stuff, Steve. So you talked about how you didn't want to be in a box. So as an entrepreneur, what's more important? Is it mindset or skill set in today's world?
You know, it's both, I would say, for sure, but it starts with mindset, I would say. Your mindset really determines what your skill set is. There are people that do have some natural talent. Don't get me wrong. We're both athletes, and we love sports, and skill matters, and there's natural skill that people have, but that doesn't bring you very far if your head isn't right. And I would say that mindset is really the precursor to your skill that you're going to develop. So, we talk a lot around here about the growth mindset, and that's what I like to aspire towards. So I would say they're both important, but one precurses the other.
Yeah, 100%, Steve. That's a good way to kind of put it. Growth mindset, fixed mindset. So my next question is, like, in business, why is mental toughness so important? I know you know what I mean, have been doing it for the last couple of years. Why is it so important to keep going? You know what I mean, when ups and downs, why is that so important?
Well, it's just life, really what it is. Like, mental toughness is a reference for life, right? Not just business. And it's important to be mentally tough in everything you do. Now, what is mental toughness as a definition? I mean, a lot of people might define that in a different way. I would just say it's related to your ability to overcome barriers and obstacles, because you're going to continue to get knocked down, and you just have to keep going. Like, I look at it in two ways. I got one side of the equation where I got a problem, and the other side of the equation, I got a solution. And there isn't any reason why you need to change that, because it's always going to be that way. And you need to develop your mind into an indestructible type of tool that can't be overcome. If you get your things done, your stuff done, your critical tasks, what can stop you? Nothing can stop you. But I think society has been trained that when too much hardship comes, that you change and you adjust and you pivot and maybe quit. And the first couple things I said, are change and adjust, are necessary. But do you quit? I don't think so. And I think that we struggle these days with sticking to one thing and becoming really good at it. We think, this isn't necessarily for me, because we're not mentally tough to go through the ups and the downs, because it is a roller coaster. And we move on to something else without actually truly seeing what our potential can turn into.
I really like what you said there, bro. My next question is, as an entrepreneur, what's one book that's changed your life so far?
Well, there's many, man. One is hard to pinpoint. There's 3 good ones on the table right here.
There you go. Yeah.
But I would say, if there's one book that I would tell you about, it would be a classic that I think everybody knows about. And if you haven't read it yet, you gotta. It's How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. I know you know about that book. It's people and relationships. That's what everything comes down to in business. And that's just like step one to getting everything kind of started and things rolling and getting that snowball moving and pushing it along so that it grows and grows and grows. So if you can get good with people and really understand how people work and understand personalities and how to be a good person and how to be dialed in on your people skills, everything else is going to come from that. It's like the precursor of mentality to get to a good skill set. Like the first thing you got to do in order to build a solid foundation is to become a good people person. And then, and at the same time, build your mindset. And then you'll develop the skill set, grow your business, grow your life.
Yeah, no, 100%, man. It's not about what you know, it's about who you know, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's a great slogan.
Exactly.
But my next question is that I'm going to go into a little bit into that is like, among yourself and like most highly successful people that you've probably studied and, you know what I mean, admired over the years, all the books you read, what's one trait they all have in common?
Oh, definitely. It's like mentality and grit. Definitely would be the one thing that comes to mind right now. Like grit just in general, like the never give up attitude, you know, like that ability to cut through all the noise and to develop the attitude of success and to win regardless of what happens. There's some influential individuals you and I both follow, and there's one of them, Andy Frisella specifically, that says it doesn't necessarily matter how you feel when you do the activity. It's the fact that you do the activity is what matters to moving forward, right? Your feelings towards doing what needs to get done are more or less irrelevant. It matters, do you do them? There's many times that we don't want to pick up the phone and make cold calls, or there's many times that we don't want to go to the gym to get stronger or to get more fit or to get mentally tougher. But that doesn't necessarily matter in terms of success. Success isn't determined by how you feel. It's determined by what you do.
No, that's 100%, bro. Andy Frisella, that's another powerful guy, man. Everybody got to listen to him for sure.
Talking about mental toughness, he wrote a book on it. The book on mental toughness, right? It's a new book.
Yeah. So my other question is like, I know you've been in business for the last 7 years, right? So what's one advice you would give to a young entrepreneur that wants to get into business?
Come talk to me, because I've done it. Yeah, outside of that, because not everybody's coming to me as a business coach. I'm not necessarily a business coach either, but a piece of advice that I'd tell everybody who wants to get into entrepreneurship would be, first off, I would say, hey, are you sure about this? Because it's hard. It's very hard. And if you don't have something built up and set up well and a foundation, it's going to be even harder. And that's where we were. And that's where I was. And that's number one. And then number two, if you're willing to take the hits and get beaten down and continue to get up over and over and over and over again, and then that would be number two. Like, I mean, are you willing to take the hits and to get beat down and to continue to get up and keep going? I think we're sold this myth that everybody can do it. They can't. Not everyone can do it. Most people are not cut out for this. And I'm not trying to pump my own tires or your tires, but you and I both know that it's very, very difficult to start something from scratch and to build it up without the right mentality and the right skill set and the right attitude, really, more or less. That's what it comes down to.
No, man, you just hit it on the ball. It's a jungle, man. You gotta survive. So, yeah, I'll probably want to close out the show. So, what's one word of advice you can leave us out with?
I would say the one word is a book that's sitting in front of us. Tim S. Grover here wrote a book called Winning. I would say, do you want to win? And winning might be different for everyone. How do you want to live your life? And I think one thing that we can all relate to is that we all want to win. And we want to strive to win. And we want to be winners. And in order to be a winner, you have to go through a lot. And you got to lose a lot. You got to fail a lot. But fail fast, fail forward, make a lot of mistakes. Learn from those mistakes. Make them over and over and over again until you learn how to do it properly. And then you're going to become a winner. But you don't become a winner overnight. And anybody who tells you that is lying to you. So become a winner and do what it takes to become that winner.
No, 100%. I tell people all the time, you got to pay a price, man. And the more successful you get, the more money it becomes harder and harder. Like, people think it gets easier over time. But, no, I really appreciate it, Steve. And where can people find you, bro?
Well, I got an Instagram page, personal Instagram page. It's Toba_Steve, like Manitoba. But TOBA, Toba_Steve is my personal Instagram. I put a little bit of influential stuff on there. Not too much because I'm not big on the socials. But our company's InXpress Winnipeg. InXpressWinnipegWest.com is a website. And personally and professionally, you can find me on LinkedIn, and that's where I do most of my networking. And then right here at Aikens Business Center, brother. ABC.
There you go.
Let's go.
This is Aikens Business Center. Like I said, me and you connected over here. And you tell us a little bit about your experience so far at Aikens Business Center, Steve, before we close it out.
I've been here for probably like 6 months now, and I was in a bit of a transition from working at home and working at another office, and it's been up and down in regards to having a building that we worked out of, and we were doing warehousing and whatnot there. story for another time. And being at other, business locations, I was a remote worker for a long time, so I had difficulty working at home. So I was looking for an office space, and I bounced around to 3 or 4 places in the last 7 years, and found one that I like and I enjoy, and the system here is right for me. So that's why I love Aiken so much.
No, most definitely, man. So this is the Hanny Show. We're gonna sign off for today's episode. My man Steve, I really appreciate you for jumping on, bro.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, Hanny.
Yes, sir, brother. And keep winning, bro. That's the motto right there.
Keep winning, man. Let's do it.
Yes, sir.